Hello, welcome back to another video. I know I said this week that we'd be trying, well, not trying, but certainly having a look at Majesco Entertainment and their, sort of games that came out on the original Xbox. I was a big fan of them, but the video I did wasn't great. It sucked. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to do a game pickups video for all of the stuff that I've been acquiring over the last few months. It's quite a lot of stuff. But, a couple new things. New perspectives. So you can see the sheer volume of crap I've got in my games room. And we are doing a giveaway. So, a couple months ago, I picked up Demon Throttle from Game on the cheap because I thought it'd be a nice thing to do, or a nice prize for a contest or a giveaway. And that giveaway kind of requires the following. All you need to do is like this video, share it, and share it on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, if you feel so inclined, forums, whatever, Reddit, everything. And once you've done so, just leave a comment down below in the spirit of saying, yep, shared, liked, blah, blah. And then let me know what your favourite game in your collection is. So, for example, Brutal Legend. As we all know, if I like Brutal Legend, you should too. But it'll be a couple weeks, and I will kind of scour through the comments on this video then, and I'll decide who's going to get Demon Throttle. If you don't know what Demon Throttle is, it's kind of a 2D isometric shooter, bullet hell sort of adventure thing. 1 to 2 players locally, developed by Devolver Digital and Doink Soft. And it was never released digitally. You can't get this digitally, you can only get it physically. It's not my cup of tea. I haven't played it. But I thought it'd be nice. And I thought it'd be fun. Please note this contest is for in the UK only. And once I've kind of decided who is going to get the game, I will send it to you in the UK. Okay? Don't have to pay postage, don't have to pay anything. I'll contact you. Or I'll announce it in... probably not next week's video, but the video after that. And then I will post this out to you. So yeah. Okay, let's get into it. Gaming pickups, because I wasn't too happy with how the Majesco thing went down. We'll start with... Okay, we'll just start with a few PSP games. I picked up Gangs of London. From CEX with trade-in, the magic of trade. Oh, pretty much all of this was either gifts or trade-in or like one buy. Yeah, one buy. Like, oh no, two buys. Because you may notice it's on the shelf over there. Yes. Okay, so I bought Eye of Judgment for the PlayStation 3. I've been kind of looking at the PS3 a bit more recently. PS5 games falling over. How badly behaved. But Eye of Judgment's always kind of been on my list of things to buy. We'll get back to PSP in a minute. Because I've got Gangs of London. I've got it already. And I was just going to say, get rid of it. This, though, I don't have. It's kind of a... well, it's a trading card game, but it's got a big old sodding camera on it, which you can see there, that scans the battlefield and the respective cards of whatever deck you happen to have, and then kind of transcribes it into the game itself, which is cool. It's like if Yu-Gi-Oh! And, I don't know, Magic the Gathering had a very strange, peculiar baby. But yeah, I'm very happy. I picked that up, like... last weekend for about 10 quid, and you know what? Solid. It's all in there, it's complete. I haven't played it yet, but to be fair, we're like 2 days off the weekend, so who cares? Yeah, I'm very happy with Eye of Judgment. It's really, really cool. The box is in terrible condition, but to be fair, it was £8. Oh yeah, it was £8. It was £8 down from 10, which is nice. While I was there, this was with trade-in, however, I picked up both Pursuit Force games on the PSP. Now, I did, unlike Gangs of London, I didn't have these. And they're kind of, I don't really know how to describe them. They're just kind of about chasing people and taking them out as part of being a cop. Which is pretty cool. I'm not super big on PSP. I've moved all the PSP games from up there, and I've got like the Interton 4000 up there now. Not one of my favourite systems, to be fair. Kind of broken. Kind of shit. But yeah, all the PSP games now exist in a bit over here, which I can show you. There. Next to the Vectrex. Might do an updated games room tour, because I've done a lot of changes recently. There have been a lot of changes in here. In fact, I changed it about 1 week after the fucking video went up, which is always helpful. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, only 3 PS3 games. I have Judgment. Something slightly more interesting. Ape Escape. I picked up Ape Escape on the PlayStation 1. Now, I really don't know anything about this series. I know it's kind of a weird collectathon of monkeys in dumb hats and other really strange stuff like that. It sounded fun. It sounded stupid, and I'm always looking for new stuff on my Polymega now. So Ape Escape is a definite grab, as well as Simpsons Wrestling. So I watched. It was either Triple Jump or Watch Culture Gaming. They talked about top 10 most overpowered characters in a fighting game, and one of them was Ned Flanders. It was Idly Hell, and him just. In fact, you can see the bastard right there. So he throws down lightning that can hit you anywhere in the wrestling arena, and is stupidly powerful to the point where it can take you out in kind of like 2 or 3 hits. Makes the bastard almost impossible to fight. Makes him almost impossible to fight, which is really not what you want when you're playing a fighting game. That being said, the idea of wrestling Groundskeeper Willie as Ned Flanders, screw it. That's too good a game to not pick up. I did pick up a lot of PlayStation stuff this month. A lot of PlayStation stuff. Some Sega, some weirder Nintendo stuff. We'll finish off the PlayStation things, though, with Kuri Kuri Mix, which was this weird little multiplayer 2D rabbit platformer thing. It's co-op. I thought it'd be fun for my wife and I to play this. She thought it was really cute, but I'm being forced to play as the grumpy pink one. Thanks, dear. That's just great. That's fantastic. Yeah, so, I don't know, I'm kind of looking forward to it. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Lots of multiplayer modes. So, I'm looking into doing a series called Forgotten Multiplayers, or games which had either tacked on multiplayers or were very heavily multiplayer focused that nobody ever talks about anymore. Unfortunately, I'm going to need a pretty good, probably a very good game capture card for that. But we'll see. I also need someone to play with me. But yeah. Okay, so yeah, that's all the PlayStation stuff. Very heavy PlayStation month. Very heavy on the PlayStation. We're also quite heavy on the Nintendo. So I'll start with. It's a Nintendo Zapper for the NES, and it's dusty as hell. That being said, it does work. If you want to beat Duck Hunt, I didn't have a light gun for the NES. I don't know if it works on the Polymega. It might do. If it does, fantastic. But if it doesn't, that's okay. So, why the light gun? I've got a few light guns. I've got one for pretty much every Sega system, short of the Mega Drive. I don't have the Menacer. I do want the Menacer. I've got the Super Scope. I don't have a PlayStation 1 light gun. Which I think I would, because I've got a few Time Crisis games, but Time Crisis was never really my favourite. My favourite was House of the Dead. I love House of the Dead. So, naturally, we've got House of the Dead's light gun. But, yeah, I figured this was kind of one of the last... I don't play light guns that much, light gun games that often, but if you've got Duck Hunt, you need the Zapper. As horrible as that clicky noise is, it's not my favourite light gun. It is not my favourite light gun. But I did pick up another NES game. Wow. Dirty NES game. I have to get in there. Donkey Kong. I do actually have... Oh no, I say that. It's Donkey Kong and Donkey Kong Jr., which is pretty fun. Those games were released before the NES was even a thing. They released on, if I remember correctly, the ColecoVision, the Atari 2800. I've got it up there somewhere. But naturally, I can't see it. One of Nintendo's major IPs released on something that wasn't theirs. But yeah, I saw this, and I was like, you know what, I don't know Donkey Kong in general. I'm not a big Donkey Kong fan, but I figured I kind of should own the original Mario game, at least on a system that, you know, it would have released on back in the day. It's fine. I'm not a huge Donkey Kong fan. I'm not a huge fan of the original game. It's fine. It's kind of mediocre. I don't know, I'm going to get lambasted for that, but I don't really care. It's okay. I don't think it's aged particularly well, but there's a lot of games that haven't aged particularly well. That being said, you know what has? Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker. I'm going to take a break from the Nintendo, because that was a bit much, a bit heavy on the Nintendo. Jimmy White's Whirlwind Snooker. Just looking at the back there, graphically, quite impressive. Especially for the Mega Drive. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of pretty crap on the Mega Drive, but I haven't been quite as impressed with what looks like faux or pseudo 3D graphics ever. Also, you know, yeah. I don't know, just, it looked interesting. It was like £3 trading, so I thought, why not? Yeah, I know, bit of a segue. Because I'm slightly ashamed of the next game I picked up, which is Funky Farm for the Wii U. Or Funky Barn, rather. It's kind of like if you took Farmville, gave it a slightly bigger budget, shoved it onto a system that nobody's ever going to play, and went, yeah, I'll do. You know what? It looked fun. It looked stupid. And I'm always on board for games that are stupid. You know? Like, normally I wouldn't play anything like this. I'm not into Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley or any of that crap. But Funky Barn? Why not? Why not indeed? Okay, a couple of limited run releases. One new, one old. Blood Rain Betrayal. I may have shown this off in another video. Fresh Bites. Yeah, my wife got me this. I can't remember what for. Might be Valentine's Day. Yeah, she got me this for Valentine's Day. It's pretty solid. I'm a big Blood Rain fan. Big Blood Rain fan. And it's not because she's quite buxom. No, I really liked the second game. My wife bought me that 2 years ago. She bought me that 2 years ago for the original Xbox, which I did talk about in my Majesco video, but we're gonna wait on that one. Yeah, that's where I talked about this. Yeah, Blood Rain Betrayal, solid game, very solid. I'm not a 2D kind of guy. I'm not a 2D side scroller, platformer, beat 'em up, whatever kind of guy, but there are always exceptions to that rule, be it Dust and Elysian Tale, or be it freaking Blood Rain Betrayal. I would murder for a new Blood Rain game. I think it'd be really cool. As long as Uwe Boll doesn't get his grubby fucking German mitts on it again, I think we're sorted. But yeah, the other limited run game I got, I ordered this in December, so the fact it arrived like last week before, impressive considering the Limited Run's current track record. I'm still waiting on Anodyne Spirit. No, just Anodyne. Anodyne Spirit's from Halo. Gigabash. Yeah, it's kind of a monster fighting game. Unfortunately, half of the roster is DLC for Godzilla, which I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that at all. Largely because this plays an awful lot like Godzilla Save the Earth on the original Xbox, and I think the PS2. Now, I love that game. I love that game to death. I got it out of a Asda about 16, 17 years ago. And you know what? It was one of my absolute favourite games on the original Xbox. It's so bloody good. But Gigabash it plays very similarly, but it's not as fun. I didn't enjoy it to quite the same extent that I did Godzilla Save the Earth. Gigabash just lacks a certain something. It might be the perspective, because Godzilla Saves the Earth is kind of pseudo side-scrolling. If you move away, the camera kind of pans out. But when you're up close, it kind of zooms in into a 2D perspective. Gigabash doesn't do that. It's all top-down, and as a result, a lot of the scale is lost, a lot of the enjoyability of its rather brutal combat is lost as well, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend Gigabash, personally. I wouldn't. I think it's okay at best. I don't think it's very good outside of kind of a multiplayer setting. So, yes, sitting. Shocker. Multiplayer, like sit down, play it with friends. I don't think it's any good outside of that. It's kind of in the same vein as Fight Crab, but unlike Fight Crab... Where is Fight Crab, actually? There it is. Unlike Fight Crab, which is a game about giant crabs beating the shit out of each other, but the camera is entirely locked behind your character. Unlike Fight Crab, Gigabash just isn't as fun. It just isn't. Fight Crab is stupid. Gigabash isn't. It's quite cliche. Well, not cliche. Generic. Quite generic. A lot of the monsters are very generic. Just, yeah, wouldn't recommend Gigabash. What I would recommend, actually, is Zero Tolerance Collection. So, Zero Tolerance, if I remember correctly, is a game released in the 90s at some point. And this has Zero Tolerance, like 3 versions of it. I think it's got the sequel on here as well, which is pretty cool. Zero Tolerance is a very, 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 very early first-person shooter on, like, the Mega Drive, and I think on the NES. I think it released on the SNES. Not the NES, the SNES. Because you wouldn't be playing it with this fucking thing. That being said, yeah, they had a copy of this on the Mega Drive in town for like 20 quid, and this was less than that. So I thought, can I have that for Easter? That'd be nice. Thank you very much to my gorgeous wife for Zero Tolerance Collection by Pico. It did come with some postcards as well, which rather annoyingly don't fit in the case. But I have a running theme. I have a running trend with that. That happened with Death Smiles 1 and 2. It happened with... And you know what? It happened with a short hike that had like a full-blown map that didn't fit in the bloody thing. Okay, we come to the game I've probably spent the single most amount of time playing over the last, 2 weeks, week to 2 weeks. Unicorn Overlord. I have loved this game. Genuinely. Absolutely adored it. It is currently sitting as my 3rd favourite tactical RPG on the Switch. Just behind Triangle Strategy and Fire Emblem Three Houses. And they only win out because of, well, character. They win out because of characters, and in Triangle Strategy's case, story. Unicorn Overlord, on the other hand, another fan-fucking-tastic game from Vanillaware. I'm not a big Vanillaware fan. I'm not. I've been meaning to get Grim Grimoire once more for the Switch at some point, because that's a game that's always fascinated me. But Dragon's Crown wasn't really my cup of tea. Muramasa wasn't really my cup of tea. Odin Sphere as well. Again, just kind of not really the kind of games I play. This, though, is kind of a part turn-based, part real-time strategy RPG that plays really well. Like, I have done everything. I've done every side quest. I've done every, like, trial combat thing. I've done every part of the map. I've done the final boss fight. I've done the other final boss fight. I've done the other final boss fight. It's just mad. The only thing I wish this game had was a New Game Plus. Because I've sunk like 40 hours into Unicorn Overlord, which is not something I really do anymore. I don't really sit down and spend and go, I'm just going to play that game again. The only other game I've really been doing that with is on the Switch. I bought the Battlefront collection. Now, unfortunately, no physical release yet. That thing has had a terrible launch, quite frankly. I'm still pissed off that they changed the loading noises for Battlefront 1 and for Battlefront 2. Really irritating. But, yeah, Unicorn Overlord, by contrast, is currently my game of the year. This is currently my game of the year. Battlefront, I'd like to say would be my game of the year. It isn't, to be fair. It's not my game of the year this year. But, yeah. Unicorn Overlord, very much so. Very much game of the year. Thank you to my wife for that. Lovely lady. Right, we get into the last stuff. Now, I bought two very expensive games. Two very, very expensive games. And by bought, I mean traded in for. But we'll get to them. So this is just the kind of tail end of the Sega stuff. I know I jumped in with Whirlwind Snooker earlier, but yeah, that game's fine. We'll start with two games I've really been looking for. Well, one I just kind of found in town and traded in for. Chaos Control for the Sega Saturn. I know nothing about this. No, I know it's by Infogrames. Technically, this is owned by Atari now, which is mad. Atari Chaos Control 3 when? Or 2, rather. Light gun compatible. I mean, I got a light gun for the Saturn like last year. I figured I might get another light gun game for it. It doesn't seem to be too bad. I haven't tried it on Polymega yet, but to be fair, I've been umming and ahhing quite heavily on whether to get the Polymega light gun. I may. If I do, I'll do a review on it. I may go back and do a review on each module, but we'll see. Chaos Control, though, pretty solid. Disc wasn't in the best nick, but that's what you get by buying from fucking CEX. Which is why the next Saturn game I bought was in good condition. So, yeah, I bought Shining Force 3. So, last year, for my birthday, my family bought me Shining Force 1, Shining Force 2 on the Mega Drive, and they're great. They're really good. I'm a huge strategy RPG fan. Absolutely massive. My fifth favourite game is Triangle Strategy, for fuck's sake. Really good. Really good games. Really fantastic games. And you know what? Shining Force 3, I am yet to play it, but this immediately went on my bloody expensive but want list. And you know what? It was bloody expensive. It was like 170 quid. Which isn't bad, to be fair. Which isn't bad with trading. I traded in a lot. I traded in a lot. There's like a whole shelf down there now that's just empty. I can't even remember half the stuff I traded in, but it was a lot of stuff. Shining Force 3 was one of the major games I bought with all that crap, though, and it's, yeah, looking solid. I'm really looking forward to playing this. Its manual isn't in the best nick, but thankfully, unlike Chaos Control or unlike, say, a lot of Saturn games, it's the clamshell case version. I wasn't even sure if this was real for a while, but upon closer inspection, it appears to be. Yeah, looking forward to playing that. I think I'll plug that into the Polymega later and give it a bash. So, we're down to our final two games. Our final two games. And the final two games are for a system that I will be talking about very heavily next week. I'm going to be talking about the 32X. I'm going to be going over all of my 32X games, because I recently went and played pretty much all of them, apart from these two, on the Polymega, probably a few days after I got the bloody thing, and after I did that review, I played all of them. I played all of them. And some are great, some are fucking terrible, some are really, really bad. These two, on the other hand, don't seem to be. Well, I say that. One of them's Cosmic Carnage. Cosmic Carnage. Kind of a weird side-scrolling beat-em-up. Well, it's not a beat-em-up, is it? It's a fighting game. It's a fighting game. Lovely. Nothing wrong with a fighting game. Yeah, about 40 quid traded, which isn't too bad. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's worth 40 quid. I wouldn't. I'm keeping it, obviously. Well, I wouldn't say I'm an avid 32X collector, but I've got a good number of them. 4 repro. And about 11... yeah, 11. Yeah, 11? 11? Yeah, 11. 11 loose cartridges. It used to be more. I used to have Space Harrier, but I traded it in. I didn't care. I didn't like it. I'm going to play Space Harrier. I'm going to play, like, the Mega Drive version. That brings us to our final game, and one I have been looking for properly for probably about... like 10 years. For a decent price. And I've never been able to find it for one. So I just kind of finally bit the bullet and I bought Knuckles Chaotix. I love Sonic. I love Sonic. And there's a few games I haven't got yet. There's a few games on the Mega Drive, on the Master System. I think I've got everything on the Mega Drive now. I've got everything on the Saturn. I don't have everything on the Dreamcast. The biggest one I'm missing still is Sonic Shuffle. Because that game sucks. It is awful. I may pick up, I think American versions are actually a lot cheaper than PAL ones, so I might pick that up, but it's not a game that's high on my list right now. Knuckles Chaotix, however, kind of one of the quintessential two I wanted on the 32X. The other one being Calibri. I got Calibri as a repro, so I'm not particularly bothered about owning that, because quite frankly I've played it, and yeah, it does play a lot like Echo the Dolphin, but like better. You know what I mean? Knuckles Chaotix, on the other hand, yeah, no, I can't own a game for Sonic that is a repro. I just don't think I could do it. The only way I'd probably be able to do it is if the game had never been released in the first place. Yeah, Knuckles Chaotix. £200. £200 traded. And you know what? Worth it. This game's amazing. It's genuinely really, really good. Well, worth it. Worth it might be a stretch, but you know what? Yeah, solid game. A lot of fun. And that kind of wraps up the fat-ass stack of games that I have purchased recently. And by purchased, I meant traded in for and got as presents. Yeah! As well as, obviously, Eye of Judgment and the two 32X games. So, I think that's it for another week, guys. Remember, like the video, subscribe, share it on social media. Let me know in the comments you've done all that. And what your favourite game in your collection is for a chance to win Demon Throttle. Now, remember, this is UK only. I don't want to ship overseas. It's too expensive. And I think you'd understand. I think you'd understand my very heavily British audience. Yeah, let me know. Let me know you've done all that. And in a couple weeks, I will probably decide a winner and send it out to you. Anyways, guys, that's me signing off.